Another video from That Helpful Dad. Today we're going to talk about cord cutting. Specifically, we're going to have a detailed, pretty long discussion that's going to look at kind of the pros and cons of the individual, solutions that may be out there for you. So on the left-hand side, you can see the rundown. I always like to provide this for you up front. You don't want to waste your time. This is exactly what we're going to talk about. If you're interested, watch the video. Skip ahead to the parts that you like. I will try to put links to all the different discussion points that I have in the description there. So make sure you check that out. And before we get started, just make sure if you don't know who I am, right, I'm the Helpful Dad, or That Helpful Dad, actually here on YouTube, also on our blog, which is in the bottom right-hand corner, That Helpful Dad. We give lots of practical solutions to real-life problems, of which paying too much for cable TV, I pretty much think is a pretty important real-life problem. It's very annoying anyway. And also, we're also on Pinterest and Facebook and things like that. So I'll put links to all that in the video description. But let's get started, because this is going to be a long video here. So first and foremost, if you're going to cut the cable, you want to know who the players are, right? And I'm not the first to make a video like this. I'm sure that you know who they are. We're just going to run through them real quickly, and then we'll circle back and do them in detail. So the first one is Sling TV, right? Some options there, pretty low-cost options. Next, we're going to talk about PlayStation Vue, and you don't need a PlayStation to have it, okay? Next, we're going to talk about Hulu with live TV. Then we're going to talk about YouTube TV. You may not have heard of that one yet. Certainly you've heard of YouTube, but did you know that YouTube actually has live TV? And then we're going to finish up with DirecTV Now. And again, you don't have to have a satellite dish to be able to get that. So that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to specifically talk about the different options that they have with that. I'm going to talk about the importance of checking if they have your local channels, if that's important to you. Let's say you want to watch the local news or local sports, kind of a big deal. A lot of times they don't really talk about that, and you don't find out until later. I'm going to show you where you can check those things. Whether or not a DVR is important to you, or you're just going to use on-demand services if they have that. And then also it's important to make sure that they're compatible with the interface that you're going to use, whether that's Apple TV or Amazon Fire Stick or your smart TV, what that is. So that's what we'll talk about. I will recommend kind of a geeky thing right here, and that is that at some point, because there's a lot involved, if you're going to go through this process, you might want to make a spreadsheet or write these things down. I made a Google Doc spreadsheet here, and I put down the company, the different plans, if it was compatible with YouTube, what the cost was, how many TVs or how many streams that you can have at one time. So for example, when we get into Sling, you'll see you can have between 1 and 4 streams. In other words, you're watching in the living room, somebody may be watching in the bedroom, right? It's not unlimited, right? Not with all of them, right? So you got to check that out. And then if they have your local channels, and then what networks are important to you. So I kind of went through this, and this helped me narrow down what were going to be the options and stuff. And also, if let's say, for example, Sling doesn't have CBS, could you buy that channel individually? And so, for example, on Amazon, you can actually buy CBS individually for $6 a month, or Boomerang for $5 a month. So you want to make sure that you're aware of those things. So again, that's what we're going to talk about. Hopefully the video will be of interest to you. Let's get started. We've got a lot to review. And by the way, I don't know everything. I'm just an average Joe, just like you. I am a cord cutter myself. I got tired of paying TV, and renting all those stupid boxes that you have to pay like $10 a month for, and that use electricity. People often overlook that too. So I'm just like you. I don't know it all. If you have tips to share, please, by all means, put them in the comments so we can all learn together. All right? Let's start with Sling. All right? So there's 3 different options with Sling. They do give you a 7-day trial, and a lot of these things have coupons that you can find online to actually get longer than 7 days, or to get some free kind of promos and stuff like that. 3 different options. So they have orange, they've got blue, or they've got orange and blue. So just looking at the orange, if you love to have ESPN, HGTV, Food Network and TNT, they're there, right? There's not a lot there though, right? So you're kind of getting some bare bones. What does the blue have for you? So the blue is going to give you, obviously some extra options there, particularly with some of your regional sports networks, Nat Geo, Wild, things like that. Also, the NFL network is here on blue. But you notice they don't have ESPN. So if ESPN's important to you, you can't have, it's over here, but it's not here. So what do you have to do? Now you got to get the orange and blue together, right? So again, going back to my spreadsheet, also in terms of the number of streams you can have, on the orange you can only have one stream. Again, this is all the time that I'm recording this video. This could change over time, so check it out. Blue you can have 3, and orange and blue you can have 4. But notice, now again, this is just for my local area, and I'll show you the locals in a moment here. In my area, the only locals I could get were Fox, and you could only get NBC on demand. Didn't have, I've got kids, Boomerang is not there, but it did have Cartoon Network, right? Didn't have Disney Junior. ESPN was available on some, but not all of them, and none of them had ESPN News, right? So you're going to have to go through and write this down, what's important to you. And so for me, Sling just didn't do it for me. I wanted to like it, just didn't do it for me. And here was the real kicker. If you go, and I'm going to put this link in the description, if you go to see what locals are available, let's take a look and see what locals are in my area. So search my local channels. Definitely do this if locals are important to you. So this is my zip code, and here's what I could get. I couldn't get much, right? I can get only one local channel, and that was Fox. So NBC local, no, but pretty much nobody has that as of right now. It's usually only on demand. CBS I couldn't get local, and also ABC. So I would have to buy those separately if I could, or just use an antenna. I mean, again, you could always have the option to use an antenna, but that's not what this discussion is about. This discussion is just streaming, the streaming options that are available, right? And I tried the antennas, and to be honest with you, they weren't really that great for me, so it didn't really provide an effective solution. So for me, again, Sling TV didn't do it for me. A lot of people like it, very popular, potentially the most popular service out there. Didn't do it for me, okay? So what's the next one? The next one is PlayStation Vue, okay? So I had PlayStation Vue. I actually liked PlayStation Vue. I think it's actually pretty good, right? They got a lot of options, right? So you have 4 different options. You can have the Access for $39 a month, the Core, and that's the one I chose, or you could do the Elite, or you could do the Ultra. Now the Ultra gives you, some premiums as well too. So with the PlayStation, going back to my thing here, PlayStation, what I loved about this was you could do 5 streams at once with PlayStation, and that's a pretty big deal. It had all of my local channels, which was great, except for the NBC On Demand. But, it didn't have, if I'm not mistaken, it did not have Nick Jr. And so that was kind of a big deal for our family. Not necessarily for me, but I've got one of my sons that loves that. It wasn't really available as an add-on option. So to be honest with you, if not for that, I would be very happy with PlayStation Vue. It has a good interface, and the Core channel was actually pretty good. It gave us really all the main things that we wanted. A lot of the local channels were here. My regional sports networks were here. Let me see if it had NFL Network. NFL Network was here as well too, because sports is pretty important for me. So again, I was very satisfied with PlayStation Vue, and again, a lot of options to choose from. So I would definitely investigate PlayStation Vue. In terms of what's available for your local channels, again, I'll just zip through mine here to show you. That didn't really work for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, but it actually did show us. I caught it over here for the Tampa Bay area. It showed my local ABC, my local CBS, and also my local Fox. So those were all important to me, and my regional sports networks. Again, it had a good interface. In terms of a DVR, let me just make sure if it has a DVR. I don't remember. It's been a little while. And also, one thing I want to say, what's great about these services, you can try one, and if you don't like it for the free trial, you can cancel. You won't get any charges. But if you do try it, say for a month or 2, and then you don't like it anymore, you can cancel. You're not locked in. You don't have any boxes or equipment you have to return. So we've switched from one to the other to try them all, and we've been very satisfied with that. And also, when you do cancel, they'll try to get you back and offer you some free promo codes. So keep that in mind as well too. I don't see if PlayStation has a DVR or not, so I apologize about that. I'll have to put that in the notes at the bottom, and if you know that, add that on, in the comments there. I know they have on-demand content, right? But I couldn't see if they have a DVR. It's been a little while since I checked on that. I don't want to keep the video from being held up right here, so I'm going to skip over that and I'll have to go back to that. So that's PlayStation Vue. Again, I was very satisfied with it, and it was very helpful to us. Next is Hulu with live TV. So you know there's Hulu, and then there is, which is kind of like older stuff. And then there is Hulu with live TV, which basically is the live TV service that you want. Now, we had Hulu, and what's going back to my chart right here, Hulu, you can do 2 streams at once. It's pretty inexpensive. There really isn't any option. It's one option. It's $40 a month. It did have my local channels, but it didn't have, if I misremember, it didn't have Nick Jr. So again, there's that dang Nick Jr. Hard to find. And the thing about Hulu that I liked is it was integrated with Alexa, so you could use voice commands if you're using the Fire TV. It didn't always work. It was about maybe 40% of the time that it actually worked, but it was nice. Lots of good content. They had a good variety of the channels in my area, and I'll show you how to check what was in my area here. So I was able to get my local ABC, I was able to get CBS and Fox, and again, none of them, and my regional sports networks, all of them with NBC as of the recording of this, it's all on demand. So that was always kind of a frustration you want to be aware of with streaming. But this was very good for us, and Hulu had a lot of options. The problem is the interface for Hulu, it just was not good. Now, I'm in my mid-40s. I'm used to having a guide, an easy-to-read guide that would show me all the channels. And if you're a millennial, maybe this is not as big of a deal for you. You know what you want. You can go in there. You can watch it. But the interface for Hulu, it was not very good, to be honest with you. And it was so frustrating to find things that we couldn't deal with it anymore. But what was nice about Hulu is it does have a DVR. And also with the on-demand, a lot of the content you could skip forward through the commercials. Now, in terms of Hulu, in terms of the pricing, see if we can find the pricing here. It says $40 a month, but there are add-ons, right? If you want to add on HBO, you could add it on for $5 for 6 months, and then you could take it off right here. You could also add on, if I'm not mistaken, oh yeah, their cloud DVR, because you get 200 hours, and you could fast forward through lots of commercials. Not all the commercials. What they don't tell you a lot of times is a lot of times these little networks, with the big networks, they have agreements where you can't fast forward to some of their commercials, particularly in the on-demand content. Now, one of the things that I did find with Hulu is there was some on-demand content that you could fast forward through. For example, we like watching Anthony Bourdain, right? And on DirecTV and on PlayStation Vue, when we watched it, we couldn't fast forward through those commercials, and there was a lot of commercials in the on-demand content. With PlayStation, or with Hulu, we could, so that was kind of pretty cool, right? But that dang guide, and not having some of the channels we needed, we just couldn't deal with Hulu anymore, which is unfortunate because it was a pretty good price. Okay, the next one is YouTube. And again, going back to my list right here, YouTube, it just wasn't a player for me because we're pretty much Amazon people. And Amazon and YouTube don't play together right now. So at the time of this recording, YouTube TV is not compatible with Fire TV, so I couldn't do it. It's $40 a month. I don't know how many TVs you can stream on because I didn't ever get this service. And to be honest with you, there was a lot of channels that we wanted that there was a lot of X's on. And so, again, Nick Jr. was one of them. I hate to keep saying that, but it was. And so that was kind of a problem for us. But you could see kind of the channels that are available. And again, it says not available in all areas. And this is what I mean here. So look, ABC available on, if you're in these channels, it's only on demand. CBS is in all the regions. Some of the regions only have on demand. Same thing. So, these things are potentially a problem that YouTube is still working forward through. To me, YouTube is not really quite a major player just yet. And hey, I'm a YouTuber, right? I love YouTube. I'm an investor in Google. I hope that they continue to develop it. I have a Google phone with Google Fi. I love Google, right? I loved for YouTube TV to work. It just didn't work for us just yet. And so, again, it's not available with Amazon, and that was kind of a big deal for me. Now, we do have the Chromecast, but we just have everything on Amazon, so this just didn't work for me. So let's keep going here. The next one is DirecTV Now. And this is actually what we currently have. So we have tried, we've gone through mainly the ones that we're serious about that we've actually tried was PlayStation Vue, which I liked a lot, Hulu, which just had the bad interface, and DirecTV, which we tried, we went away from, and now we've come back to because we just think for us it's the best service, okay? And It's got a lot of options, so let's take a look and see what are the channel options here. Let's go down. Where are they at? They just actually, as of the time I'm recording this, now have a DVR service that's available with select devices, right? You can stream on, I think it's 2 at a time. Yeah, 2. You can pay $5 more and then you can stream on 3. You don't have to have the satellite to get this. This is just totally streaming services. And they have a couple specials going on right now. So if you're a new customer, you can get this Apple TV. If you prepay for 3 months, then you won't get the free week trial, but you could get the Apple TV. They also have some stuff with Roku as well, too. So the 3 plans that we looked at Live a Little and Just Right. And let's take a look at the channels that are available here. And then, of course, they've got some bigger ones as well, too. But if you're going to pay that much, then maybe you don't want to cut the cord. So for us, what we liked about DirecTV, just going back to my list right here, had all my locals. Boomerang, actually not in there, to be honest with you, but you can add that for Amazon for $5 if you want that. That's surprising. Am I right about that? I thought we just watched that today. No, Boomerang is not on the main one. So, gee, learned something new right there. Don't tell my son that, right? But I bet it has Nick Jr. That must be the one reason why we had it. Let's see. Nick Jr. There you go. Okay. Thank you. Right? And also, it just checked a lot of the boxes on our list as well, too. In addition, it has a good guide. The on-demand content is pretty robust. Like I said, it has the DVR. And again, if we look at the local channels, you can see this here. And we'll just go into the local channels, 3, 4, 3, 9. We'll check it out. And it tells you everything that you got there. So that was all good for me. And then you can check your regional sports networks, if this is important to you, right? And it gives us the Fox Sun Sports that we wanted as well, too. So that was important to me. And then there's another little thing that compares all the available channels on here. So for us, DirecTV kind of had the best combination of a good price, right? And you could even go less than what we had, and as well as the ability to have good on-demand content, a great, I wouldn't say great, I mean a good guide, right? Just as good as PlayStation's, which I think are the 2 best right now. And then also with the DVR content as well, too. So the point is, there are some important things to keep in mind when you're going to cut the cord potentially. And I think the biggest one that people often overlook is the local channels, right? The DVR may or may not be important to you if you're just going to watch on-demand content, and then you want to know, can you skip through the commercials when you have the DVR program? Can you skip through the commercials when you have the on-demand content? Is it compatible with your device? Do they have any great specials right now? So my recommendation really is going to depend on what is important to you. I mean, if the channels that are important to you aren't the same as important to me, you might be able to go with a Sling TV and maybe get that for like $20 a month, right? You could really save a lot of money. So we're spending, I think, $50 a month right now. I think when you add tax, it's about $55 a month or something, you know. And it works for us. We're very happy with it, and that is the DirecTV option. So that is my recommendation, DirecTV Now. Alternatively, I think, again, PlayStation Vue is another great option. And you don't have to have a satellite for DirecTV Now, and you don't have to have the PlayStation to do the PlayStation Vue. You can get them all with your Apple TV, your Amazon Fire, usually Roku as well, too. So that's my list. That's my rundown right here. I hope that that's helpful to you. If the video is helpful, please share it with your friends. And again, if you have tips to share, please share them with me. And of course, check out my blog at thathelpfuldad.com. Always happy to help you out with practical solutions to real-life problems. Thanks, and have a great day.